Alright, is this working? You guys can hear me? Perfect. Beautiful. Alright, I'm gonna pull my notes up on the side because I do have quite a few plans and of course write them down because I don't want to cut anybody short. But first of all, welcome. Welcome to the Press to Handstand online coaching group. I am super excited to have you guys here. Thank you so much for joining me on this. This is gonna be a lot of fun. This is gonna be a lot of hard work. It's gonna be a lot of learning, a lot of trying, a lot of failing, and it's completely part of the game, you know. Um, to start off right away with the failing, it's good to fail. You know, you need to learn what doesn't work. You need to learn why things don't work. Okay, only by doing things that don't work, by pushing through plateaus, we can eventually get better and actually get good at what we do. Now, the next 2 weeks they're going to be filled with daily workouts. Maybe some of you guys are not used to training every single day, and that's okay. I recommend you try to push through the fact that these are daily workouts. Try to really work out every single day. This is going to help you push yourself to the next level. It's going to help you get stronger. It's going to help you. You're going to learn how much more you can actually be training instead of just training when you feel like it, right? You're going to train more like an athlete. So the workouts are gonna be hard. Your 2 weeks are gonna be hard, and you need to really train for that. You need to take these 2 weeks serious like this. Um, you need to warm up well for every single workout. You need to rest well between your workouts. You need to eat well. You need to make sure you sleep at least 6, even better 8 hours. Get enough protein. Get enough vegetables. Lots of greens. Drink lots of water. Your body needs to be hydrated to be able to recover. In every single training, in every single conditioning training that we do, you're basically going to give little micro tears to your muscles, right? You rip them open tiny little bit, you damage them a little bit, but from this they don't get stronger. Your muscles get stronger from recovery, from the time between your training, and this is why the time in between the training is so very important. Okay. Um, what else is there? Okay, WhatsApp. Now, everybody of you guys already joined the WhatsApp group, I hope. Um, that's awesome. I need you to use this WhatsApp group as a tool. If you have any kind of questions throughout the workouts, you send them there. I will be almost always available to help you. I mean, I do sleep sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes I'm asleep. Then, of course, I cannot help you. But the times when I'm not asleep, I will answer all of your questions. And if I wake up in the morning and you guys ask questions that I haven't answered yet, I'm going to get back to you then. Okay? It's really, really important. The WhatsApp tool is how we can stay connected. If you don't use it, I cannot help you. Additionally, I want you to post videos there. Please don't post 17 videos a day. Please don't post every single exercise of your training. I'm not going to help you like this. No. Every day, or every other day, or however you feel, you got to post a video, one video at a time. I will look at the video, I'll write detailed feedback to the video, I'll check on your form, I'll explain to you what you have to improve, what's already good, blah, blah, blah. If you dump your entire practice on there, you just got to clog up the chat. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help anybody else. Okay? Please be respectful to everybody else. We all want to learn. We all want to improve. Um, yeah. Basically, that brings me to the next point. Be respectful and be helpful to everybody else. We're all in different parts of our journey. Some of you guys have never done a handstand before. No, not this. But some of you guys don't train as much. Others that might be already professional athletes. You know, um, we're all on a journey. We're all trying to learn a press dance. We're all trying to improve on ourselves. We're all trying to survive in this what's becoming a more and more crazy world. So help each other out. This is not supposed to be a burden in our life, this personality coaching group. This is supposed to be something positive, something that we enjoy doing, and that's gonna help all of us get somewhere where we haven't been before. So treat it this way, lift each other up and be positive, especially in the group chat where you guys are connected. Um, when it comes to the actual workouts, please make sure that you watch the videos on top of every single workout. Those are important. Those are similar to right now, just that I'll be somewhere else and I'll be explaining what to do in the workouts. Um, I'm basically going to be highlighting specific technique or specific drills of this day's workout, or just what is the goal of that day's workout, because it's very, very useful if you actually understand why you're doing a workout. Okay, um, sure, you can just go ahead and work through the exercises. That's cool. Um, but if you actually know why you're doing the exercises and what is the goal, the intention behind it, your training is going to be so much more efficient. Okay? Um, watch the videos on top. Warm up well. Don't skip the warm up exercises. Especially, the warm up exercises, that's also, it's whatever. You can do your own warm up, I don't care. They're going to help you, but they're up to you. But you really cannot skip. Those are the most important ones. It's the prehab exercises. You start skipping those prehab exercises, chances are high you're going to get injured. We don't want that. It's the last thing we want. I said it before. The Preston Hansen is not a game life changing thing. It's something that we do because we enjoy it. If you get injured, well, your life's gonna suck. Plus, you cannot do a Preston Hansen anymore. You cannot do what you enjoy anymore. Okay? So, yeah. Alright. What's next? Oh, yes, of course, only do what feels safe. If you feel like you're not ready for something that's on this training list of the day, don't do it. Ask in the chat for an easier progression of it. Skip it. Make up your own progression. Anything at all. But don't do stuff that you think might injure you. Don't do stuff that you think you're not ready for. Obviously, right? You're responsible for your own body. I'm not in the gym with you. This is a list of exercises that I think you should be doing. But at the end of the day, you have to make your own decisions. My God, my allergies are bad, guys. You have no idea. It's tough to be me sometimes. Yeah, I'm gonna pause this for a second because I need to go blow my nose. I am so sorry. I might look all tough on the Instagram and stuff, but damn, I'm telling you, those spring allergies, they mess me up all day long. It's crazy. Um, it's also not just spring. What am I saying? It's like all year long allergies. Anyhow, I'm here. I'm alive. So let's push through it. So, um, those are basically the rules for your training, for your WhatsApp chat, for the videos on top. I hope this is all clear. If not, I don't know, watch the webinar over a couple times until you get it, okay? It's important. If you have questions about it, obviously just ask. Now, three more interesting things. What is a press to handstand? Um, well, I hope you guys all know what is a press to handstand because that's why you sign up for this group. Press to handstand is basically how to go from standing on your feet to standing on your hand without bending your arms and without jumping and without swinging. Basically, we have to press up into a handstand. That's what I call a press to handstand. Um, a press to handstand is very, very technical, right? Um, how to approach this best? So we usually talk about press to handstand conditioning. And while getting stronger for a press to handstand is obviously important, we can all increase our strength. The press to handstand is not a strength move. It's a flexibility move. It's really, really important that we all, from the first moment on, understand this. Um, the case study is very simple. Um, go to, let's say you're in LA, you're going to like a high, sounds stupid, but you're going to like a high level yoga place, right? With people who've been practicing yoga for a very long time. Well, how I imagine India is going to be. You go to India, you go to like a yoga place. Everybody's practicing yoga their entire lives. I know it's very high of me to say this. I've never been there, but you get the idea. People have been practicing yoga for a very long time. In the studio, almost everybody can do a press to handstand. People just kind of flop up. They're very flexible. They have enough strength. They just get up into the handstand. They might not be able to hold the handstand because they're literally too flexible, but they can get up. They can press the handstand. Now, take the polar opposite. Let's go to a CrossFit gym. People are super strong. People are massive. People cannot tie their shoes because they're not flexible enough. It's what they're training for. Out of these people, nobody can do a press to handstand, guarantee it. But they can all hold a handstand, they can walk in a handstand. So what we see here is very clearly, flexible people will be able to press up without strength. Strong people can barely press up without flexibility. Okay? Super, super important to straight away understand this. Yes, we want to do press to handstand conditioning because we can always get stronger and everybody can get stronger. But at the end of the day, the press to handstand is a flexibility move. So we need to work on our specific flexibility and on our coordination. Okay? Now, moving on from this, um, what exactly happens when we do the press to handstand? The press to handstand happens in three different parts. Part one is the takeoff, when the feet leave the floor. Part two is the compression period, when we push everything together. And part three is the unrolling into the hands so the legs come around. I'll explain each part in more detail in just a moment. For now, it's important that we agree that there are three parts. And what's really important is that the more that we can separate these three parts, the easier your press to handstand is going to be. So basically, when we're going to be training for the press to handstand, we're really going to be working each of these parts separately, away from each other. You need to understand each of these parts, understand what you're good at about these parts, what you're not so good yet in each part, how you can improve all of these parts, to then put them together to A, make it up for the first time, B, make it up consistently, and then C, turn your press from into a little beautiful, when like the angels start to sing in the background every time you do a press. There's a rainbow that comes out, shooting stars, all of it at the same time, waterfalls, fairies, fairy tales, but it's gonna be a lot of work to get there. For some of you guys, maybe some of you guys are already there, and you're just trying to improve it from here. But now looking at the three parts, part number one is the takeoff. If you guys follow me on Instagram for a while, you pay attention. The takeoff is basically what you would train when you do a walking dead, right? This being your feet, this being your hands. You lean the shoulders towards the front. You engage your anterior, so the anterior deltoid to push the hands open, and the feet come off the floor. This is part one. Lean towards the front, feet come off. Just that is part one. That part is difficult enough. Make your feet leave the floor. I mean, yeah, you need to be strong for this. Obviously, flexibility is going to make an important part here. You need to have long and flexible hamstrings in order to fold and a half, in order to just get your hands onto the floor, right? Number one, you need to get your hands onto the floor. Number two, the more that you can close your legs, bring your hands on the floor, the higher your hips already are, right? If I straddle my legs wide, or if I have to bend them, my hips are not very high. If I close my legs more, my hips are higher. With this, my center of gravity is more on top, and the taking off is going to become easier. So the takeoff, part one, is a combination of hamstring flexibility and shoulder strength. Okay, super important. Moving on from here, part two. Part two is the most important and most difficult part of the press handstand. Most people skip this part, and this is why most people's presses are A, not very pretty, and B, not very efficient, or C, they don't even make it up, right? The second part, the compression period of the press, is basically when, during the first part, we lean the shoulders towards the front. Now, in the second part, we try to bring the shoulders, so we have here are our hands, right? Here we have the shoulders, the hips are probably somewhere here, and the feet are here. Now in the second part, we need to push our shoulders in, and the feet in at the same time. We need to get from very long to very, very small. Imagine you're in this like original Star Wars movie, when they like crush the trash. You're inside there. You just get pushed together like this. By being pushed together like this, your hips they rise up. You get pushed together, the hips come up, boom. Right? Now, we're here. This is difficult. This is the hardest part of the press handstand. A lot of things come together here. You need to obviously be very flexible. To do this, you need to basically be able to do this, right? Here. That's difficult. We need flexible hamstrings. We need a mobile lower back. We need mobile shoulders. That's all stuff that you can work on. You're gonna say, oh, but I'm that guy who does CrossFit and I'm not flexible. No, but that's okay. A year from now, you're gonna be more flexible if you want to, if you choose to. If you're gonna work on your flexibility consistently, you're going to get more flexible. It's very simple, just how you got stronger before, right? So you're gonna work on your flexibility, you're gonna get flexible. Now, okay, so coming back to this part two of the press to handstand. The shoulders need to move in and the feet need to move in. They need to move in at the same time because the shoulders come out to balance the feet, right? If I just move the shoulders in, I will fall over this way. If I just pull the feet in, I'm going to fall over this way. You need to move in both at the same time. At the same time, the hips will automatically come up. You're coming from here, you're squishing everything together like that peanut butter sandwich. In your hips, that the peanut butter is pushed out, right? The hips come up. What do we need for this? We need, again, the anterior deltoid to push the shoulders in. We need the hip flexors to pull the feet in. And last but not least, we need the lower back muscles to basically pull the hips up into the slight anterior pelvic tilt. Okay? In an ideal world, you're gonna have your back slightly arched here. Ambitious? I would say I'm pretty flexible. My back's not gonna arch in the press to handstand. Um, a very slight arch would be the ideal scenario here to basically come here. But then you need to be crazy flexible. Most of us are not gonna be this flexible, but striving to have this slight anterior pelvic tilt, this slight arch in the back, is gonna help you engage the muscles that you need in order to get your hips up on top. Okay? Super, super important. Again, you need to be flexible for this. You need to have lots of mobility. Part 3, the unrolling into the handstand. If you did part 2 right, part 3, you're already in a handstand. You already have your hands, your shoulders, your hips aligned, your feet are down here. Part 3 now is only bringing the legs around. Part 3 is not going to require shoulder strength or back strength or flexibility in this area. Part 3 is just about your hand balancing ability. Are you able to get your legs up? Are you able to balance your headset? Now, some of you guys can't headset yet. You won't be able to do part 3 in these 2 weeks, obviously. Learning to handstand takes time. I've included lots of handstand training into this program. For the people who cannot handstand yet, you'll be working on your handstand. The people who already can handstand, you're going to be working on your handstands with a focus towards the press to handstand, with drills that will help you for this part 3 of the press to handstand. Because what you need is straddle handstand, 2 legs together, tuck, because the straddle and the tuck, they're very similar to each other, right? So a tuck press and a straddle press to some extent, they're very similar. Um, okay, now what happens to this press to handstand if that's sort of the scenario, the very common scenario, you're not very flexible? Can you still do a press to handstand? Absolutely. If my hamstrings are not flexible in the takeoff period in this part, I have to lean my shoulders more towards the front. Instead of being compressed like this, I'll be here, which means I can still push myself up this way. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be efficient. And especially, it's not going to be good on your wrists because this angle is going to become crazy sharp. So you're going to have to turn your hands outwards. But you can still make it up. Absolutely. It's going to start to look more like a planche press. Think gymnastics, think cannot think of any famous male gymnasts right now. Think Fabian Hambüchen from like 50 years ago, remember? Um, think planche. Body is parallel to the floor, shoulders are far towards the front. You can do a planche press. From a push-up position, you can push up into a straight handstand. To some extent, that's a press to handstand. Just without any hamstring flexibility whatsoever. Pretending you're the stiffest person in the world, you need to be super strong. But guess what? He makes it up, right? Um, Looking at a press to handstand, if you're very, very, very weak, you're not gonna make it up. You're gonna do part 1. The hips might come up a tiny little bit, the shoulders will collapse, and you'll just fall towards the front. Um, Unless you're that flexible that you don't have to lean your shoulders towards the front at all. I actually just signed up a new client to my online coaching like last week. I've known her for a long time, and she's one of the most flexible people in the world that I know. And I know very, very flexible people, right? She's like professional rhythmic gymnastics from childhood. I believe that she's the only person I know who can do a press to handstand without leaning the shoulders towards the front. She basically starts with her feet next to her hands and then just rolls up like this. Yeah, she can do 10 presses to handstand, but her shoulder angle never changes. It's still a press to handstand, you know what I mean? But this part is unrealistic. This is not achievable. The planche push-up is almost more achievable than this, but neither is what you guys should strive for. Because what you want to strive for is look at perfect technique and get as close as possible towards this. Because the perfect, most efficient technique is going to be the most healthiest one. And that's what you want to work towards too. No, you might not get this strong. No, you might not get that flexible. And that's completely okay. If you reach both of these levels that I'm talking about to like 60%, you'll have a beautiful press. If you reach them to 80%, you'll have an outstanding press. If you reach them to 100%, you're gonna have a press like 2% of the press is the handstand, right? So strive for this perfection. Work on every single part as much as you can. Gain as much advantage as possible in every single part, and you're gonna really make it somewhere. Okay. Um, I have to blow my nose again. I'm so sorry. Okay, so back. Also, there's gonna be some cleaning happening behind me. I'm still living out of Airbnbs and hotels because um, I lost my home recently because I've been living in Ukraine the past couple of years, and since all of this is happening, we've been kind of on the road. So I'm still in a hotel lobby. People are gonna clean behind me, but hopefully after tomorrow, fingers crossed, we're gonna move into a new apartment somewhere else, not in Kiev, obviously, unfortunately. Um, so my life's still a little bit improvised. I apologize for that, but we're still gonna make the best out of this week, and you guys are gonna help me get through all of this because you guys have lots of questions which distract me from looking at the news, which is not so pretty these days. Um, okay, so we've discussed pressing technique. We've discussed the muscle step we need. We discussed how to make a press easier. It's by getting more efficient. One point that I wrote down, one of the last points on my list is the handstand and the press to handstand. And I have absolutely no idea what I meant with this. So I'm going to improvise my way around this. Um, you obviously need a press to handstand in order to be able to press up into the handstand. That's not a question, right? Um, but you can still train for the press to handstand when you do not have your handstand yet. Why is this? Developing all of these different parts that I've been talking about is difficult and it will take time. Okay? You're not going to just learn this. You're not gonna like go and pick this up, right? It's not like you go to the grocery store and buy tomatoes. No, you buy like the skin of the potato and then the second skin of the potato and then a little bit of the meat and then this. It's gonna take a long time. In perfecting your pressing technique will probably take a longer time than learning your handstands. And you cannot train for your press as much as you train for your handstands. Your handstands are technical skills. Presses is much more physical skill. Flexibility training, you need to recover from. Conditioning training, you need to recover from. Handstands, to some part, they are conditioning, but they're very technical. They're about building coordination, awareness, detailed feeling for your handstand. This is something you can train every single day. So here's the plan for everybody who cannot, or actually for everybody. During your warm up, you stretch because because what you need for the press is mainly hamstrings. The more flexible your hamstrings are, the easier your everyday handstands will get. The L handstands, a kick up, all of this will get easier by lengthening your hamstrings. So do your warm up, you're gonna train your hamstrings. Twice a week you train your hamstrings hard. Then you do our regular handstand training, and our workouts are obviously built this way, right? Um, and then at the very end, conditioning. 2 to 3 times a week, you work press conditioning. Like this, you're gonna improve your handstands to the point where you need them in order to do a good handstand, and at the same time, you're already gonna work towards the press to handstand. Both things improve, and eventually, whoosh, they meet in the middle, and you're gonna be good at handstands. You're gonna be good at your press to handstand. Bam! All of our dreams come true. How cool is that? Now, um, one more thing that's gonna be good when you learn to handstand, when you get very good at handstands, you can do your press the other way around, meaning you can do press negatives, pressing down from the handstand to the floor. Um, that is something that's really going to help you improve your press to handstand, because instead of working against gravity, you're kind of working with gravity, right? And it's much easier to feel these three different parts when you're pressing backwards. To explain, I'm starting in a perfect handstand. Part 3, because we're starting backwards, is the unrolling to the handstand. Let's go to a straddle, the pike, and I use my hip flexors to pull them in as much as possible. In this moment, my hands, shoulders, and hips have not moved at all. The hips might have flopped a tiny little bit into the anterior pelvic tilt to basically balance out my legs this way, but I'm using my hip flexors to pull the legs in. Now we come to part 2. Part 2 is the compression period. You're very compressed, so we're gonna do the exact opposite. My shoulders, which is right here, my tushy, um, in my handstand. This is my shoulders, here my hands. I'm now gonna lean my shoulders towards the front, lean the shoulders towards the front, and drop my shoulders, my hips down. Tap. Compression, period. From here, shoulders come in front, hips come down, boom. And now my feet are close to the floor, and all I have to do is put the feet down towards the floor, right? That's your press in the other direction. If you're able to do your handstands, you're going to be practicing these this week. Um, if you cannot hold your hands in it, you're going to practice them in a month when your hands in it start to get better. Um, the advantage is that you're here really able to feel this second part. You can figure this out much better this way. I will provide, and I have provided actually, now that I think about it, I've provided lots of progressions for people who cannot hold their handstand yet, to also do something similar to this. You're going to be doing this same lowering from a handstand against the wall, with helping tools, this and this and this. So we're gonna simulate the same feeling to you, so you have nothing to worry about. Um, One more thing that's also very important is when we do this negative one, you there really start to see that you leave your press to handstand with legs together and not in a full straddle. You often, like many people often think that you should start pressing from a full straddle. No, this part one and part two, your feet stay almost together, and only for part three they come around. On the example of the negative, if I come here and then I try to put my feet down without closing them, well, you have to go like this much further down towards the floor. That makes a massive difference to your press. You can press down to like a full straddle, a full split, the middle split, then you can probably already do a starter press here. Alright, this is pretty much it for that I had planned for the press handstand. Um, Part one, because we're gonna meet again in a week from now. First of all, thank you for joining me. Now, if you guys have any questions, head to the WhatsApp chat and ask them there, because not everybody can be here live. So I wanted to move these questions away from our webinar and put them in the chat. So if you were watching this thing later, you can then still look at the questions that people were asking, learn from them, and ask your own questions at any time. This doesn't even have today. This can be on Wednesday. This can be on Friday. You have asked questions, you go to the WhatsApp chat. Okay. That's it. I hope this was informative. I hope this was inspiring. I hope that my allergies didn't throw you off too much. I think they're gross. Maybe you're a little bit more forgiving than me. Um, it's time to get to work. Do your warm-ups, do your drills, work hard, ask questions, get to work. These 2 weeks, they're serious, okay? This is your 2 weeks intensive. We want to work hard. We want to get tired. We want to make them games. You want to make games, you got to go out there and make them. All right? Happy training. I'll see you soon.